Hello, dear students. Today we are going to study the second part of a short monsoon diary. You have already studied the first part, and here today we are going to study the second part. The page is already displayed on the screen. I will read it for you. He's writing his diary on August 2nd. All night the rain has been drumming on the corrugated tin roof. There has been no storm, no thunder, just the steady swish of a tropical downpour. It helps me to lie awake at the same time it doesn't keep me from sleeping. It is a good sound to read by, the rain outside, the quiet within, and although tin roofs are given to springing unaccountable leaks, there is a feeling of being untouched by and yet in touch with the rain. Now, here you can see the meaning of drumming is given to us. But the second line, you come across another new word that is corrugated. The meaning is fold or folded. Then another new word you find on the third line, that is swish. The meaning of swish is smooth. Now the writer is saying that the whole night it had been raining and it had been making a noise because the roof of his house is made up of tin. And so as it was raining, it was making a noise, and so he's saying it was like drumming. And he says that there had been no storm in the night at all. Only what was there is the smooth movement of water. It helps me to lie awake at the same time it doesn't keep me from sleeping. Just because it was making a noise, the writer says that he had been staying awake. Of course, though he had been feeling sleepy, he must have slept in between, he must have taken naps, but at the same time, because of the noise, he used to get awakened. Then it is a good sound to read by. The rain outside, the quiet within, and although tin roofs are given to springing unaccountable leaks, there is a feeling of being untouched by and yet in touch with the rain. So he's saying it was raining outside, but just because the tin roofs are leaking, there were holes in the roof, and so it had been leaking, and so he says that even though he was safe in the house, but still because of the leakage, he was in touch with the rain. Then we come to the next part of it. He's writing his diary on August 3rd. The rain stops, the clouds begin to break up. The sun strikes the hill on my left. A woman is chopping up sticks. I hear the tinkle of cobwebs in the oak tree. A crow shakes the raindrop from his feather and caws disconsolately. Water drips from a leaking drain pipe and suddenly clean and pure. The song of the whistling thrush emerges like a dark, sweet secret from the depths of the Rhine. And so here the writer is saying now it has stopped raining. He's saying the clouds are getting cleared up. He can see a woman chopping sticks over there, and he's talking about the cobwebs that are coming up. He says that in the oak tree he can see a crow sitting over there who was trying to shake off the raindrop from his feather. And what else does he see? Water drips from leaking drain pipe, and suddenly clean and pure the song of whistling thrush emerges. So he's saying now all of a sudden he can see clean and pure. Everything is clean and pure in his surrounding because it is washed away. Apart from that, he is also taking this line to state that a bird that is emerging in the ravine. Ravine, the meaning is given to us in the textbook, that is valley. And so he is saying from the valley he can hear a bird that is coming up with a sweet song, just like a dark sweet secret that comes out all of a sudden. Then we read August 12th. Endless rain and permanent mist. We haven't seen the sun for 8 or 9 days. Everything damp and soggy. Nowhere to go. Place the room, look out of the window at a few bobbling umbrellas. At least it isn't cold rain. The hillsides and are lush as late monsoon flowers begin to appear, wild balsam, dahlias, begonias, and ground orchids. So he's saying on 12th of August. Endless rain and permanent mist. We haven't seen the sun for 8 or 9 days. Just because it had been continuously raining, he says that he hasn't seen the sun, or rather, they have not seen the sun for about 8 to 9 days. Everything damp and soggy. Now, here you come across a new word, that is soggy. The meaning of soggy is soak or soaked with moisture. And here he is saying everything is damp, everything is soggy. He says there is no way to go. Pace the room. Pace the room. He must have been moving in the room itself because he doesn't want to go out into the damp surrounding. Look out of the window at a few bobbing umbrellas, and as he looks out of the window, he can see people moving about and with an umbrella in their hand, and he can say or he sees as though they are bobbing over there. At least it isn't cold rain. The hillside are lush as late monsoon flowers begin to appear, wild balsam, dahlias, begonias, and ground orchids. So he's saying the hillsides are now full of beautiful flowers. Then we come across the next date that he is writing his diary on, that is August 31st. It is the last day of August, and the lush monsoon growth has reached its peak. The seeds of the cobra lily are turning red, signifying that the rain are coming to an end. In a few days, the fern will start turning yellow, but right now they are still firm, green, and upright. Ground orchids, mauve, lady slippers, and the white butterfly orchids put on a fashion display on the grassy slopes of Landor. Wild dahlias, red, yellow, and magenta, rear their heads from the rocky crevices where they have taken hold. Snakes and rodents flooded out of their holes and burrows take shelter in roof attics and godowns. A shrew, weak of eyesight, blunders about the room, much to the amusement of the children. Don't kill it, admonishes the grandmother. Chuchundurs are lucky. They bring money. And sure enough, I receive a check in the mail. Not a very large one, but welcome all the same. So here he is writing his diary on August 31st. He says it is the last day of August and the lush monsoon growth has reached the peak. The seeds of the cobra lily are turning red, signifying that the rains are coming to an end. So it is like an indicator that says that now monsoon is very soon going to come to an end. In a few days, the ferns will start turning yellow because presently they are green, continuously getting rainwater. But after a few days, as the water stops, they will start turning yellow. Then, ground orchids, mauve, lady slippers, these are names of different flowers, and the white butterfly orchids put on a fashion display on the grassy slopes of Landor. Landor is the name of a place. Wild dahlias, red, yellow, and magenta, rear their heads from the rocky crevices where they have taken hold. And so he's saying these flowers are coming up from the crevices. The meaning is given to us in the textbook. Crevices, narrow opening or cracks in the rock. And from there, what emerges are these flowers. Then the next paragraph he tells us snakes and rodents flooded out of their holes and burrows take shelter in the roof. Attics. Attics means upper room and godowns. Now these creatures have come out of their holes because their holes are submerged in water, and to survive they have ran away from there and come to different places like the roof, the attics, and godowns. A shrew, weak of eyesight, blunder out of the room, much to the amusement of the children. And so the writer is saying that something new for the children has come out. A rare creature has come out, and that is called as the chuchundar. And so here you see that this creature comes out, it looks out, it runs about in the room, The Chuchundars are having very weak eyesight. But at the same time, you can see what is the grandmother trying to tell them. Don't kill it. The grandmother, Chuchundurs are lucky, they bring money. So it was a blind faith, or rather, it was the belief of the olden people. They used to say Chuchundurs are very lucky. Why? Because they get luck to the house, they get money in the house. And the writer also tries to add to it. And sure enough, I receive a check in the mail, not a very large one, but welcome all the same. So he says, yes, I have experienced that because I got a check in the mail. Then we come across the next part, October 3rd. We have gone straight from monsoon into winter rain. Snow at higher altitudes. After an evening hailstorm, the sky and hills are suffused with a beautiful golden light. So now the writer is saying, we have come straight from monsoon into winter rain. Winter rain, the rains that come in the winter season. Snow at higher altitudes. Now, if you go to the hilly areas like Jammu and Kashmir and Shimla side, you come across this season, you find snowfall over there. All right? And so that is what he is trying to say. After an evening hailstorm, the sky and hills are suffused with a beautiful golden light. Now, here he is saying that in the evening they had hailstorm, and the sky and hills are suffused with a beautiful golden light. Suffuse meaning is the spread of golden light in the sky. Then let's come to the next part. He's writing his diary on January 26th. What is he writing? We'll see. Winter reigns in the hills, in the hushed silence of the house, when I am quite alone and my friend who was here has gone. It is very lonely, very quiet, as I sit in a liquid silence, a silence within, surrounded by the rhythm of rain, the steady drift of water on leaves, on lemons, on roof, drumming on drenched dahlias and window panes, while the mist holds the house in a dark caress. As I pause near a window, the rain stops and starts again, and the trees no longer green but grey menace me with their loneliness. So, what is the writer saying over here? He is saying, or he is writing, in the hushed silence of the house when I am quite alone, and my friend who was here has gone. It is very lonely, very quiet, as I sit in a liquid silence, a silence within. So he had a friend along with him who had been staying with him, but since his friend is gone, he is quite alone. Apart from that, he is writing, I sit in a liquid silence. Liquid silence means it had been raining outside, and everywhere outside there is quietness, and that is the reason why he is writing over here. It is a liquid silence. Surrounded by the rhythm of rain, the steady drift of water on leaves. As it is raining, it is making a noise because it is falling on the leaves, and the leaves are making a noise of it. On lemons, on roof, drumming of drenched dahlias and window panes. While the mist holds the house in dark caress. Mist, that is, the atmosphere is foggy, and so he is saying that there is mist around. As I pause near a window, the rain stops and starts again, and the trees no longer green but grey. Menace, the meaning is given to us over here. Threaten me with their loneliness. So he's saying, and the tree is no longer green. They have turned grey. Why? The leaves are fallen down. And it is maybe because of the snow and the hails, it does not hold any more leaves. The trees do not hold any more leaves. And he says it is like everything is turned grey. And that is like threatening to him. Let's come to the next part. That is, he's writing his diary on March 23rd. Late March, end of winter. The blackest cloud I have ever seen squatted over Mussoorie, and then it hailed marbles for half an hour. Nothing like a hailstorm to clear the sky. Even as I write, I see a rainbow forming. So here, March 23rd, he is writing. Late March, end of winter. He's saying now the winter has ended, but still he can see something more that is at the end of the winter taking place. The blackest cloud I've ever seen squatted over Mussoorie. Squatted means to sit down, to hunker. And so here he is saying the clouds took over Mussoorie, the place, Mussoorie, and then it hailed marbles, means like the size of marble, it had been hailing, or they had hail falling for half an hour. And as it hailed for about half an hour, what happened? Nothing like a hailstorm to clear the sky. The sky cleared up after the hails. Even as I write, I see a rainbow forming. And so now he sees a rainbow in the sky, because after the hailstorm, there was no more rain. Everything was cleared up, the sky was clear, and because of the sun rays, he could see what in the sky? That is a beautiful rainbow in the sky. So here we complete this part. I hope you must have understood. Thank you, dear students.